How much confidence do you think it gives them ahead of the Liverpool game?
It's going to be a much different test in that we're not going to see Liverpool come and play the way Manchester United done. We're going to see two teams going at it against each other. Of course, they're going to be confident anyway. They're on a tremendous run of form. So yeah, it's going to be such a different game next week. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to say I think whoever wins that game wins the Premier League.
You said United were good today, Rob. Are you convinced by City they're as good as last season, do you feel?
Man City?
Yeah.
Yes. And Haaland, just as good. De Bruyne is back. And the likes of Doku, great signing. And Foden is gone up gears and levels. Foden, right now, you would have to put him in that conversation of Player of the Year right now.
Yeah.
He's on that level, especially after today. But
went off today. Hope it's not a bad injury.
Yeah, it looks okay. Sometimes you just get a little bit of a knock. I think he got it from Anthony, I believe. But he looks fine. But Foden, exquisite. He's a genius because his touch, his game, his goals are just on world-class level. So I tell you what, Gareth Southgate, good luck picking that team.
City have got Arsenal. Southgate was there, by the way. City have got Arsenal to come at the end of the month too. Are they your favourites at the moment, Darren?
Manchester City?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. I think the different styles that they can play and the different styles that they can play against, we've seen today, it was a tough game. Manchester United got that right in the first half. We were sitting here thinking, they're struggling to break them down. Of course, it took a wonder strike from Phil Foden, but then they just grind them down. So the fact they can play against different styles and come out on top. But like I said, Arsenal will be there or thereabouts. I do agree with that. But next week is massive for the title.
Let's show you a graphic to paint the picture then of what's to come for City in the coming weeks, starting with the trip to Anfield next Sunday, which will of course keep you across on Soccer Sunday, be live on Super Sunday as well. What stands out there for you, Rob, apart from Liverpool? Any tricky fixtures, or do you expect City to emerge unscathed from that run?
I think Arsenal, the Arsenal match of 31st, that stands out absolutely because Arsenal, they're the real deal. Arsenal are the real deal.
Yeah.
They showed it last year. They're just as good this year. And the other one is Aston Villa. Arsenal and Aston Villa, those two stand out because they're very, very hard games.
Next 3 league games against the top 4.
Yeah, I think in terms of the two teams that Rob mentioned, I think the fact they're both at the Etihad obviously puts Man City as favourites for them both. But we'll probably see not a similar style to today, but we will see two teams looking to stop Manchester City play first in terms of the Arsenal and Aston Villa, and then try and hit them on the counter-attack. But on today's showing, they can deal with almost any style. And so, although Arsenal is going to be difficult, I think it's Liverpool or Man City's title.
OK, I think we've got a graphic of the Premier League top of the table. I'm not sure if that will include Manchester United because they sit 6th in the table now, 11 points off the top 4, Rob. Is Champions League gone now? Is it FA Cup or bust for United?
I think the Champions League is gone because I can't see Aston Villa losing multiple games. Tottenham will still continue to push, but you're 11 points off. 11 points is so big with how many games have they got? 11 games to go. It's too much. It's too big. The gap is too much. So I think effectively Champions League is gone. Obviously, been looking at that 5th place as well, where decisions will be made. But I just think today was too much. Now they've lost it. They need to pretty much win every single game to really stand a chance and hope for other results.
Yeah, they got Everton at home next. They had 3 shots today, Manchester United, 27 from Manchester City, 26% of possession. So Jim Ratcliffe, when he had those interviews, Darren, in the week, was talking about wanting to be as dominant as City. So ultimately, we say it's a good performance in the context of where these clubs are now, but they're going to have to go better than that, aren't they, in the future? Is the next few weeks, is this a situation for Erik Ten Hag auditioning for the role again, do you think, with Ratcliffe there, in terms of the style of play, not just the results?
Absolutely. I think everyone's on trial at the moment at Manchester United. I think, as Rob said, I think top 4 Champions League places is going to be really difficult. They've got to almost win them all. They've still got to play Liverpool and Arsenal as well. They're both at Old Trafford, but these are going to be two teams that are potentially battling for the title. So it's going to be extremely difficult for Manchester United to move any higher than what they are now, especially with Spurs and Aston Villa. They're on good form as well, both of those. So everyone's on trial, everyone's auditioning, and that starts with Erik ten Hag, because once the new ownership, the new regime take over, you know what it's like. They like to make changes, and if Manchester United want to become the force that they once were, changes need to be happening.
If they finish sixth in the table where they are now, Rob, do you think he'll be there next season? If they could maybe win, we've got Liverpool in the FA Cup quarter-finals, but if they could win the FA Cup, would Ten Hag get the backing of the owners, do you feel?
If they win the FA Cup, yes. I think it depends on, obviously the communication is Dan Ashworth might be coming in, maybe not. I think that is to be figured out first because, listen, is he a good manager? Absolutely, of course he is. But I think, like Darren said, everybody is on trial. Everybody is auditioning for the role. This summer is going to be so big. But the key thing is the upstairs has to be taken care of first. You know, who's directing the football, who's making the decision, who's in charge of the football direction, and then those conversations with the manager. And is he the right man? It's going to be based on that, really. And then a big, big summer this summer for Manchester United. Who's in charge? Who's the manager? Who are they recruiting? What is the direction of Manchester United? It happens this summer.
11 defeats this season in the Premier League. They've only twice lost 12 before, of course, they've been since Sir Alex Ferguson left. I think the last was a couple of years ago when Ralph Rangnick took temporary charge. Chelsea have lost less than Manchester United. West Ham have lost less than Manchester United. United have got a goal difference of -2. How difficult or how important is it that Ineos figure out the calibre of this squad in terms of judging Ten Hag? What do you think of the players?
It's vital. It's vitally important. Look, we're talking, is this Champions League over for Manchester United? It's not a foregone conclusion that they'll make European football. With the teams below them as well, Newcastle, Brighton, West Ham, all going okay, all going strong. Look, in terms of the club, they're looking to push on as well. They need to, the lower down they finish in the league, the less players are going to want to come and play, especially the world-class players. So it's vital to, first and foremost, as Rob said, to sort the top out. And then you need to you can't just keep throwing money at it, though. You can keep throwing billions of pounds at it to try and make a change. We've seen that with Chelsea, but they'll come good again, Manchester United. They're too big not to.
Where do you think Guardiola could get that Man United team to finish? Same players?
Guardiola?
Yeah.
They'll be challenging for the title.
Do you, with the same squad?
Yeah, he's a genius. He's a genius. He's the only one where I think he's on its different level of football. I've never seen anything like it. A man that can... he's never been sacked, by the way. There's a reason for that. And he's totally changed the game of football. Every manager looks at what he's doing. Every player is now doing stuff that was unacceptable to do 10, 12 years ago. But because Guardiola makes it work, everybody's inspired by it. So I believe with any team, I think Guardiola would be challenging for a title.
Do you believe
it's just that good?
Darren, do you believe there are other managers out there that would be better than sixth place and a -2 goal difference at this stage of the season?
Yeah, of course. Jurgen Klopp would be.
Yeah. Available managers, maybe.
I'd say there are a fair few, because to be a manager, especially in a team that are struggling, you need to build confidence, bring the confidence out. And that's what Pep Guardiola would do. He would improve the players. Jurgen Klopp would improve the players, and he would get them believing they're good players. There's no confidence in there. You could see when Phil Foden scored the second goal, everyone just went down. And I said, if you're going to lose, but have a go. And they didn't. They gave up towards the end, and then they scored the third, and it was like an expectation that they were going to concede as opposed to a surprise.
Manchester United's incoming sporting director was pictured having lunch with Dan Ashworth. No suggestion of what was talked about, but would someone like Potter take this club on? What's your take on that, Rob?
Listen, I'm not sure about that because they need somebody very, very strong. They need somebody with a clear idea of how to improve every player as well as just tactically. The big thing for Manchester United is going to be about the planning. I think what affects Manchester United, this is a rebuilding Manchester United. This is not Manchester United title challenges. This is how do we rebuild Manchester United for going forward? Because park the bus of those 20 years ago, the titles, Alex Ferguson era, park that away, because this is not it. You can't judge them on that. You got to judge them based on what are they trying to do. They're trying to do some good things. They're trying to bring in the director of football. They're trying to bring in Dan Ashworth. They're trying to bring in new recruitment. So those things are rebuilding. That's why it's so big that they decide who the manager is going to be. And the big thing is the players that are going to leave this summer, because I think there'll be a few that leave this summer based on contracts, based on you're not wanted anymore. And who comes in is going to be the critical.
Well, how many do you see going for that lineup? And I suppose the question would be, how many can they get good money for?
I think you'll see probably 3 or 4. I think going from that lineup, from the squad from today maybe, and depending.
Varane probably is going to be one of them.
Well, that's the interesting one, because Varane is been such a world-class defender. I just wonder whether personally does he want to leave, or do the club want him to leave? I think that's the battle, because you have got a quality player there, and there's lots of quality players. But I think there's going to be decisions made on who wants to be here, who wants to go forward with this new project, because it is a new project. And that's where we got to judge Manchester United on, not this frustration of, everything's not good enough. No. Park that away a little bit. Things have got to be based on what's coming next.
Profit and sustainability is a big thing, isn't it? Do you think they might look to cash in on Marcus Rashford if they can, from Paris Saint-Germain, for example?
Potentially, yeah. But again, it depends how willing and how much Marcus Rashford wants to stay in this project. And with all the rules with FFP and stuff like that, yeah, of course, they're going to look to sell on players. But there's an argument as well, with going back to Erik ten Hag, that do you even make the change? You can't keep making change with the managers. He's been trusted to get the best out of Manchester United. OK, there's going to be a new ownership, and OK, it's not gone too well. But sometimes we've seen with Arsenal, you need to back the manager and back the project. And maybe Jim Ratcliffe may come in and back Erik ten Hag, as opposed to what we all think is going to happen, that he's going to make changes. There's an argument on that.
Personally, in my opinion, looking at it, and all the managers over the last few years that continue to come in and go out and come in, that creates so much disruption for the players that are there, for the continuity of the football club. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and in my personal opinion right now, I think you've got to go with Ten Hag and trust the project, trust the new project and the direction of the people upstairs controlling the next decisions. I think you've got to trust him and go with him.